everyone, welcome to Vaishai's YouTube channel and to the Polity MCQ series, which are prelim specific series. So we are in the episode 13 of Polity MCQ series. These are especially formulated for the prelims purpose. So if you have not seen the past 12 episodes, go watch them and come back to this video. So it will really benefit you for a quick revision of the concepts, and it will also help you to judge yourself whether you have completed and revised, like remembered the syllabus or not. So if you want to join the test series through which thousands of people are getting benefited every year, to join the test series of Vaish IAS channel, you need to WhatsApp to the number that is appearing on the screen, that is 7200681675. You can inquire about the details of joining to the Vaish IAS test courses or test series by WhatsApp, by giving a WhatsApp to this number. Okay, let's start the video now without any further delay. Question number 1. Currently, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India is entrusted with which of the following responsibilities? Statement number 1. Audit of the receipts and expenditure of the centre and each state. Audit of the accounts of any other authority when requested by the Governor. Compiling and maintaining the accounts of central government. Ascertaining and certifying the net proceeds of any tax or duty. Controlling exchequer on behalf of the Parliament. On behalf of the Parliament during financial emergencies. Select the correct codes. We have to choose which of the following statements are correct. Okay. So in this first statement is correct. We can say that audit of receipts and expenditure of the centre and each state, he will have that duty. And the second statement is also correct. Audit of the accounts of any other authority when requested by the Governor. Third statement is not correct. And fourth statement is again correct. Fifth statement is not correct. So 1, 2, 4 is the option. That is option C is correct for question number 1. He audits the receipts and expenditure of the centre and each state to satisfy himself that the rules and procedure in that behalf are designed to secure an effective check on the assessment, collection and proper allocation of revenue. He will also audit the accounts of any other authority when requested by the President or Governor. So you have to remember this point. When it is requested by President or Governor, he will have that power to audit the accounts of any other authority. For example, he will audit the local bodies. He used to, before 1976, he used to compile and maintain the accounts of state governments also. In 1976, he was relieved of this responsibilities with regard to the compilation and maintenance of the accounts of the central government, and due to the separation of accounts from audit, that is departmentalization of the accounts. He ascertains and certifies the net proceeds of a tax or a duty according to Article 279. The certificate is the net proceeds, means the proceed of a tax or a direct minus the duty minus the cost of collection. No such provision is available. We have picked up the statement from UPSC 2012 question. Okay. Consider the following statements with respect to Attorney General of India. He is not a member of the Central Cabinet. This is the first statement. So here it is a typing error. So this is the first statement. This is the second. This is the third. Okay. There is no fourth statement. Only 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. So first statement, he is not a member of the central cabinet. Second statement, he is not part of the union executive. He is not eligible to vote in the parliament. So these are the three statements. So for these questions, they are asking which of the above are correct. So 1 and 3 are correct because he is not a member of the central cabinet. That is true. He is not eligible to vote in the parliament. That is also true. But according to Article 52 to 78 in Part 5 of the Constitution, it deals with the union executive. The union executive actually consists of President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, and it also consists of Attorney General. So they gave that he is not a part of the union executive in the second statement. So that is wrong. So 1 and 3 are correct. So option D is correct for the question number 2. Question number 3. Which of the following bodies investigate all matters relating to the constitutional and other legal safeguards for the Anglo-Indian community and report to the President upon their working? National Commission for Minorities, National Commission for SCs, National Commission for STs, Special Office for Linguistic Minorities. So option for the question number 3 is option number B, that is National Commission for STs. Okay, SCs, scheduled okay. Answer B is correct for the question number 3, that is National Commission for the Scheduled Caste is also required to discharge similar function with regard to the other backward classes also, and the Anglo-Indian community as it does with respect to the SCs. In other words, the commission has to investigate all the matters relating to the constitutional and other legal safeguards for the OBCs and Anglo-Indian community and report to the president upon their working. People will get confused, they won't think SC and National Commission for SC and National Commission for ST as the answer, because they think that it is only concerned with SCs and it is only concerned with STs. But National Commission for SC have the special provisions or special powers regarding to investigate the matters relating to the OBCs and Anglo-Indian community also. So answer B is correct for question number 3. Question number 4. Who among the following will represent the Government of India in any reference made by the President at the Supreme Court under Article 143 of the Constitution? Union Law Minister, Chairman of Law Commission, Attorney General and Solicitor General. So answer for the question is Attorney General. He will represent the Government of India in any reference made by the President. Okay, it is under the Article 143. So the President has assigned the following duties to the Attorney General. So to appear on behalf of the Government of India in all cases in the Supreme Court in which the Government of India is concerned. To represent the Government of India in any reference made by the President to the Supreme Court under Article 143 of the Constitution. Here you can see how much role that the Attorney General has. He will represent the Government of India in the cases. Okay, it is a very much respected post. Okay. Question number 5. Consider the following statements. UPSC is not concerned with the training of recruited civil servants. UPSC falls under the Ministry of Education. The government consults Central Vigilance Commission and UPSC while taking disciplinary action against a civil servant. Which of the following statements given above is or are correct? So statement 1 and 3 are correct. So UPSC is not concerned with the training of the resultant recruited civil servants. So 1 and 3 statements are correct. So option D is correct for the question number 5. So UPSC actually falls under the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions and not under the Ministry of Education. So statement 2 is wrong, 1 and 3 are correct. So option number D is correct for question number 5. Question number 6. Consider the following statements. The Interstate Council is a permanent constitutional body for coordination between the states and the union government. The Prime Minister is the chairman of the Interstate Council. Which of the following statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2 and neither 1 or 2. So second statement is correct in the given question. So option B is correct for the question because Article 263 of the Constitution of India provides for the establishment of the Interstate Council. Okay. The Interstate Council is not a permanent constitutional body, so statement number 1 can be eliminated. So, for coordination between the states and union government, it can be established at any time if it appears to the President that the public interest would be served by the establishment of such a council. So, Interstate Council is not a permanent constitutional body. It is constituted by the President. When he feels that the matter is related to the public interest, then he will constitute the body under Article 263. It is not a permanent constitutional body. Question number 7. With reference to the Finance Commission of India, which one of the following statements is or are correct? It allows the withdrawal of money out of the public account of India, it to supervise and report on whether the union and state governments are levying taxes in accordance with the budgetary provisions. It ensures transparency in financial administration. Select the correct quotes. So here it is illogical to say that it allows the withdrawal of money out of the public account of India. It's not correct. So statement number 2 and 3 are correct. Okay. So option B is correct. So here it is a mistake. So option B is correct over here. Okay. Finance Commission is not vested with such powers. The statement is really absurd, as in appointed body consisting of only few officials allowing the withdrawal from any fund is illogical. Finance Commission is not vested with such power. So Statement 1 is wrong, so only 2 and 3 are correct. It is to supervise and report on whether the union government, the state government are levying taxes in according to the budgetary provisions, and it ensures transparency in financial administration. 2 and 3 are correct, so option number B is correct. Question number 8. Consider the following statements with reference to the Controller and Auditor General of India. CAG is the head of Indian Audit and Account Service. He holds office for 5 years or till the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Which of the following statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 or 2. So second statement is wrong over here. Only 1 is correct because his age is till 65 years, but he has a tenure of 6 years. Okay, in the statement it is mentioned 5 years. It is wrong. Only first statement is correct, so 1 only is the answer, that is option A. Question number 9. Who bears the salary, pension and allowances of the chairman and members of the UPSC? Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India, Ministry of Finance, none of the above. So it is from the Consolidated Fund of India. So question number 9, statement option A is correct. Salary, pension and allowances of the chairman and members of the UPSC bore by the Consolidated Fund of India. Remember this. Which among the following bodies do not have the powers of civil court as part of their duties? National Commission for SCs, National Commission for STs, UPSC, and none of the above. So it is UPSC because both the National Commission for SCs and STs, while investigating any matter or inquiring into any complaint, has all the powers of civil court trying a suit. UPSC Commission is not vested with such powers. So option C is correct for question number 10. So we have done with the 10 questions of the day. So we are done with the session. That is it for today's video. Okay, let's meet with another MCQ series in the next class. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Make sure that you subscribe the channel, like the video, and comment with your feedback.